Will Colin Farrell and Andy Serkis be in the Batman? Will the Joker make $1 billion? Here's one thing we know for sure. It's a Moxie kind of day. Here on DC Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC
I'm giving it a power.
You are?
Yeah, it's like this.
What? Were you just scratching your nipple
My
while you were
underarm is
giving
so
it the
pale.
power?
I gotta turn that over. Jesus, I'm on pale.
Welcome back to DC Movie News, where I just learned something very important about our dear Mike Kalinowski, and it is that he does not have a cool wink whatsoever.
I don't have a cool wink?
Yeah,
I got a great wink. Are you kidding me? I'm known as being a winker.
Oh, that was
See?
Yeah, that
Exactly.
was really good. No, he gave
Don't tell me I can't wink.
Give me a really strange wink before. It looked more like a twitch. I'm Roxy Stryer, and I am sitting in for Adam Gertler, who is on a very super secret mission.
Are you sitting in for him though? You're always here.
Well, yeah, but I'm sitting in here.
You're sitting in the hot seat.
It's an Adam chair.
It is.
I don't know where he is actually. New York?
I thought last time he was putting the sausage in the Big Apple. He was glazing the Big Apple.
But is he still there? Is his sausage still in the apple?
I don't know.
We never know where his sausage is.
And that's a problem. That's not our problem.
That's very true. Mike.
Yeah, kiddo.
What do we now do? The killer? Or KO only? What is it?
Let's killer. Let's go with killer.
Let's go with killer.
Yeah, I think KO's kind of done. I haven't really KO'd anyone in a while. Because everyone's so damn good now. That's the problem.
That's the truth, but I'm happy to have you here.
Everyone's so
all the
good.
Moxie stuff. Yeah, and we are a little later today for anybody who is watching us live.
A little later, here we are.
We did go up a wee bit late. That's because Mike is working his butt off, and so am I, and this is when the schedule crumbled.
If there's anyone that I could ever be on the same page as a workaholic and whatnot, it's you, Roxy.
Yeah, for sure. We're both at it.
You are definitely the female counterpart to my male. And it's so funny because we do two different things.
Yeah, that's true.
We're constantly, your hustle amazes
But
me.
we're Moxie, so that's what's up. Also, our amazing producer, Ryan, in the booth. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, y'all?
Right,
so
guy.
Excited that we got to make this work. I know we're going up a little later today, but it's been an exciting week. Awesome casting announcements.
Yeah.
And we're going to get right into that because, yes, as you just said, we're in talks with Colin Farrell and Andy Serkis, but also Mike told me something that I had completely missed about Black Adam and who's going to be the counterpart to him possibly, so we're going to talk about that. And, of course, we have TV time for today as well.
Of course we do.
So, as always, a stacked show for you, but let's just start with the talks of the week.
Let's do it.
The talks of the week. That was kind of cool sounding.
Let's talk about the talks of the week. We're talking about the talks of the week here. Wow.
Where are you from?
I don't know what that is. That's just my hoity-toity accent. Hello.
I'm from Richville.
You're from Richville?
Yeah.
I'm from upstate New York.
Oh, also very rich.
Clam country.
Colin Farrell's in talks to play Penguin, and Andy Serkis is in talks to play Alfred. This news came out one right after the next.
Bing bang.
Yeah, but obviously we have seen in talks sometimes leads to being cast and sometimes does not, as we saw with Jonah Hill reporting in talks.
But also Jeffrey Wright.
But also Jeffrey Wright as well, and Robert Pattinson was in talks, but so was Nicholas Hoult in talks. So
hearing, it's always so funny because you hear these stories about the actors being in talks, and he's mentioned Pattinson. Like now that's come out that he's cast, he was like really wanting this role. And every time you hear actors that want role or when they get cast, you don't hear that the level that they went to prior to it. Like he was worried. Like I remember the story came out that he was worried because there was all that buzz when he was talked about. And him and his agents were worried that this was going to sour Warner Brothers, so he really wanted it. So
and it could have soured them. It didn't, but it absolutely could have.
So it's,
But I wonder if it will with Colin Farrell or Andy Serkis. It doesn't seem like there's anybody else that are in talks for those roles right now. But let's break them down separately. Starting with Colin Farrell as Penguin. How do you feel about that casting?
Of the two?
I can't read your face at all because for anybody...
They got the hat on?
No, but just for anybody who right now is on Apple Podcast or wherever you're listening to us, Mike just made a happy then confused face. It was like
Okay, I'm going to say this because I would like to pretend that I will always give the benefit of a doubt to a casting choice. I've never... And you guys can, maybe Eisenberg with Lex Luthor was the only one, and I think that was before I was on this show, where I was kind of like, nope, I don't see it, it's not my choice.
Okay.
I always like to give the benefit of the doubt, because obviously the director sees something, he knows the script, what the actor will bring to it. You can't say that Colin Farrell's not a great actor, he's a great actor.
But? I
just don't see him as Penguin. Penguin is always a short man, and again, they could augment him with CGI, they can shrink him. I always picture the Penguin as a portly gentleman. He's the Penguin, and he's called the Penguin because he looks like a penguin. Now, Serkis, when he was talked about, He was the front runner for the Penguin in fans' minds, so I was on board with that.
Well, I think it's interesting that you say that because I know that you guys give me a lot of crap for it, but obviously I'm coming off of being a huge fan of Gotham. And
That's true.
And one of the leads on the show was Penguin, who was not he was not a short guy and he was not a chubby guy. He was average height, lanky guy, and he was excellent.
You're like, maybe they're casting because that's what the forefront of the character has been now. Maybe that's Warner Brothers were like, well, we've changed the dynamic of what it is. You're right, Rox. But
Robin Lord Taylor is the name of the actor for anybody who wants to check him out.
And I know I wasn't a fan of Gotham, but anytime I saw him, he was always really good.
He was really good, and it was more about how he used his brain. And
I get it. I do see it, and I'm not gonna say.
This
movie sucks now.
You're thinking Danny DeVito in your head.
No, of course, but I'm thinking like people that have thrown names around. Paul Giamatti.
He would be excellent.
Before he died, Philip
Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like I just pictured. I mean, here's my thing. Colin Farrell was at one time going to be Batman. In the Jude, it was him and Jude Law for Batman versus Superman with Wolfgang Peterson back in the mid 2000s. He was up for Batman. So when you have an actor that's going to be Batman and an actor that's going to be Penguin, I don't buy that. Batman and Two-Face, you could have an actor of the same caliber.
Have you been hearing
the
Matthew McConaughey Toothface rumors?
Two-Face, all right.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting.
We're going to get a Two-Face going to take his shirt off.
But when we're talking...
That's a pretty good Matthew McConaughey. Come on now.
It was good. When we're talking Colin Farrell, though, what I will say is he's very conventionally handsome.
Yeah, he is.
So for me, it's less about his body and more about his face. Mm-hmm. He's very, very attractive and in a way that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of him as Penguin. But I'm hearing rumors that he's already talking about the fact that he would really like to gain weight for this role, look different for this role. I think he's a stellar actor, and every person Matt Reeves has brought to the table so far, I've been a fan of.
You're right. And that's the thing. It's like Matt Reeves has earned the goodwill. So I'm like, but now thinking about it, like when I think about Christian Bale, who's Batman, but then I look at him as
Skinny McGee.
No, the political movie he did.
The what movie?
The political. He was the president. The not president. Like, come on, Vice. He was Cheney. Seeing what he looked like.
Yeah,
that could be Penguin right there. So I don't know
true.
if they would go that far, and they're shooting soon, so he doesn't have that much time. But I mean, Colin Farrell also has a smarminess about him. And I will say this with the best of, I don't know how, he looks kind of dirty to me. He's got that dirty guy. Like, I don't want to say it because we're a PG show here. I'll tell you off air what I think of him.
Can you tell me now?
Well, I think he's the kind of guy that probably, has his way with the women, but then doesn't go take a shower afterwards and put some clothes on and goes out. Like, he's
do you think that about the actor?
Yeah, I do. I think he's dirty. I think he's a dirty actor.
I feel
Was that too much? I told you I didn't want to say it. PG.
It's not too much because you don't know him. But what I will say is,
I think that could work for the Penguin. I picture him with like the shirt open, with gold chains, with some hair coming out of his chest, with a monocle. Sure, with a bunch of ladies on his arms, being dirty.
So you're kind of into the dirtiness of...
I think I could be into it because he's kind of dirty. He doesn't come off as dirty to you?
I will tell you...
Every time he's drinking and smoking?
No, not at all. But here's what I will say. Colin Farrell has been sober for a little bit now.
He had a drinking problem?
He had a massive
substance and drinking abuse problem?
Why would you call that dirty?
I'm just asking. Because it's leaning heavy into what I'm saying here.
Well, he did. He's done a couple rehab stints. I know that.
Okay.
But what I will say is we have a mutual friend who has spent some time with him.
Oh, God. Am I going to put my foot in my mouth now?
That mutual friend is Josh McCouga, who has spent time with...
McCouga!
who has spent time with Colin Farrell.
I love that guy.
And he has said that Colin Farrell, not that you said otherwise, he's the nicest guy on the planet, which makes me even more excited about this because when you hear somebody's a really genuinely, like, just one of those guys that now maybe not a beer with, but you would want to go hang out with.
He's never, even during his stints where he was, kind of the height of his career and he was going through those substance problems, you saw it happening. Mm-hmm. You never saw him be a jerk to press. You never saw him be a jerk at fan events or in press lines. So I'm not going to say no to this casting. It's just not my first choice, or even that's why I'm not a casting director.
Right.
I don't have that grand vision.
I would agree. It's not who popped in my mind, but once I heard it, I was like, this could be really cool, especially coming off of Gotham.
I'm so glad you said that because I'm so focused in on the comics and the cartoons of what it had. And Danny DeVito, as great as I love that movie, is not the Penguin to me. Yeah, he looked it, but it's so far to one side. But I mean, when I'm thinking the Penguin, I'm thinking the Arkham games. If you ever watched those,
Yeah.
like his monocle is the bottom of a bottle that's stuck in his
Yeah.
eye, and I love it. But if you took the heaviness and shortness out of that character and just kind of made it a normal sized man, that is a Colin Farrell-esque. I can see him doing that. So yeah, okay.
Because
you changed my
dirty.
mind. I'm not. It's not meant like. Don't you have those friends that are like?
I know exactly what you mean.
You know exactly what
Where
I mean.
you're like,
These-
I don't actually want to share a liquid with you because, like, when is the bottom of your
I
feet are
wouldn't
probably
date
black.
the girl that you just dated. I wouldn't date her. That's what I would say. Like after he was with the girl, if I really liked her, I was like, I wouldn't. I can't go near that. I can't. She's I just can't. But the stories when you go out with him as a dude, when we're going out there as a party together, he's the guy you want to be at the party with.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. All right.
Absolutely.
What do you guys at home think? Really curious your thoughts. Number 1, is Colin Farrell dirty? Number 2,
Come on now. He's gonna hear this and tweet out, and he's coming at me and stuff. Like,
I'm sure he'd be like, hell yeah, I'm dirty,
fucking right,
down
you
and
go,
dirty.
oh, dirty.
Do you
Throw a
guys think he
cigarette
would
at me.
make a good Penguin? Do you think that he actually ultimately will be the Penguin? What are those talks looking like right now? Let us know your thoughts. We are live every single Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, even though today we are going up a little later on the Popcorn Talk Network. Also everywhere on iTunes, SoundCloud, all the places that you can listen to podcasts. So comment, let us know your thoughts. I'm looking in the chat right now.
People are killing Mike because he says he's dirty. They hate him.
They're really not. They're really not killing you for that at all. Dirty Farrell is trending in our chat thanks to Amit Sharma.
It's not a like he just doesn't bathe type dirty. It's just a I'm gonna dig myself a worse hole.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Sure, fine. Why not?
God.
Maybe I should let you keep going. Colin will make this role very unique, says Amit. Colin Farrell is Pigpen from Charlie Brown, says Garth McMurray. Great actor. Yeah, all the thoughts in here. Gotham Penguin is my Penguin, says Ivan Soto. I feel similarly.
Ivan.
Senior Nerd. Did Colin Farrell date Britney Spears? I don't remember that.
She went through a dirty phase.
That was
Isn't
one
her
of her-
song?
No, that's Christina Aguilera.
Oh.
Wanna get dirty?
Wanna get dirty? Yeah. I'm gonna get dirty. Yeah.
Ryan, so many things to
I
clip out
cannot
today.
believe
I am a
So
soundbite king.
Segway King,
He did
Soundbite
date Britney, by the
King.
way.
Thank you. Oh, the two of them. Dirty.
Garth McMurray says Penguin is a dirty bird.
There you go.
He is a dirty bird.
And if he's got a little girl in his arms, like, oh, Pengy, you dirty bird. He's like, watch.
Watch what?
The movie, when it comes out,
Watch
and everybody's like,
what?
Kalinowski called it. Well, who said Dirty Bird? Because we're going to give the credit to him.
Dirty Bird was Garth McMurray.
Garth McMurray, you're getting Dirty Bird, buddy.
And Zeno R says Colin Farrell dated
Is
a
Garth
lot of
McMurray,
women.
is that the Schmodown fan?
Garth McMurray is a Showdown fan, yes.
He's the guy dresses up as Voltan?
He's
is
great.
that you, Garth?
I don't know, but
He's
he's
the guy that
excellent.
comes at me too sometimes, though.
I
Kind
love
of card.
Garth McMurray.
But I do like him.
Mikey drunk? Question mark us.
Am I drunk?
He's Blue Drew, yeah.
I'm not. We
Sober
should
as a bird.
Let's do a show drinking one time during
We
the
should,
holidays.
we
Let's
should
do
do.
a holiday drinking show.
I agree. Let's talk about this other bit of casting news
Yes.
/ rumor right now. This is also in talks. Andy Serkis in talks to play Alfred.
Now-
I have a feeling you feel more positively on this one.
I was confused because I thought Serkis was given the role. Farrell, because the news came out so soon, they were assuming it was the same, but he was not officially cast. I thought Serkis was cast.
Neither of them
Okay.
have officially been cast.
Okay.
They're both still
Now that
in
is,
talks.
like you said, and you read my mind. I was much more on board with this. I'm still not. For some reason, I can't even take credit for this. Someone said Pierce Brosnan, and I've not been able to get that
As
out of my
what,
head.
Alfred?
I've not been able to get that out of my head. Pierce Brosnan is Alfred. Because I love, like we said, with these Alfreds and these characters that do new turns, it was before Gotham in the comics, they tried to make Alfred this kind of a badass guy. They did Beware the Batman, the cartoon, where he was kind of a older but tougher, bigger guy, not like the frailer Englishman. So I think with this, Serkis does have a good athleticism to him, so they're kind of lean into this. But he's also not that old.
He is 55.
Okay, and Pattinson's what, 33?
Yeah, so he's
Okay,
got.
I mean, still 22.
Yeah,
but he
he's
doesn't
got
look
some space on him.
I guess he does look 55.
I didn't think he looked 55, but he is.
I picture Alfred more in his 60s.
yeah.
Like to me, Jeremy Irons so far has been Alfred out of all the live. Like as much as I love Michael Gough from the original '89 Batman, Jeremy Irons has been my Alfred so far.
On zero authority. Here's what I think.
Okay,
Andy Serkis.
I give you authority though.
No, I'm just saying I don't know this to be true. So don't anybody say that Roxy said this happened. Andy Serkis is directing Venom 2.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis has a ton of projects going on. Andy Serkis wants to be in the Batman and is a clear fit for Penguin. Andy Serkis doesn't have the time to be there as often as Penguin does. And Alfred is a cool role, great role, not as
But future
time-consuming role.
A franchise role. You're going to be.
Well, Penguin could be too.
I hope all these characters are going to be.
Yeah, but I just think for right now, maybe he didn't have to show up on set as much. They
So
wanted
you
him
think-
involved.
You think he originally went for Penguin and they said, hey,
I kind of do think
we
so.
do like you. What's your time? Oh, we don't have this. But, I mean,
Yeah, I kind of do think so.
and again, people
On
that,
no
people,
authority.
people that wouldn't believe you, I say, absolutely, you don't know how Hollywood works.
Yeah.
Where these people come in for certain roles, and they love certain roles, but then they're not the right fit. God, I just read that about a movie recently. The guy read for a role, and he was not right for it, but he wanted another role. Oh, it was about RoboCop. Never mind. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It was an actor who went in for a particular role and ended up with a completely different role in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they loved him. Yeah, I 100% see that, you know.
Who knows?
Can I throw something out there?
Yeah,
Right, Willie's right.
So Matt Reeves is directing this. Did the Planet of the Apes films with
Oh,
Andy Serkis.
That's
Yeah.
a big one.
I'm shocked that he's not playing a character that would be a little bit more showy or require his CGI. Now, I know he's more than just an actor who uses those effects, and I think he's a great actor on his own. I mean, we've seen that in the Avenger films and many other works, but I was a little surprised by that, just considering all the times he's worked with Matt Reeves, it's been with Caesar.
I think he doesn't want to be an ape.
I'm kind of like with Rock since I think he's kind of moved away from that because for the longest time it seemed like every project, like I remember when they were talking about New Batman, it's like Andy Serkis for Clayface. Why? Just because he's done the CGI? But I get your point, Ryan. But I think
lot
Matt
of-
Reeves is like, I'll absolutely work with you whenever you want.
Whatever you want to do.
So these are the roles we have.
You're a great actor. You can crush a lot of things. And I also think that
He is such a good
Andy
actor.
Serkis is more people know his name than his face.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And I don't know if Andy
I
Serkis loves that.
No, and I think that guy, because he was robbed for Caesar, he should have been nominated for the Academy Award for what
was
he did.
excellent.
But because the Academy is older and whatnot, they don't see that was an acting performance. He was on set every day. So he brings, like, I just watched Black Panther again. Even his little bit in Age of Ultron, he brings so much to that role. It's a thankless role, killed off, but he's so damn good in those movies. He's so good. He elevates every material he's in. Even in the Cook in King Kong, I think he was Kong, but he had a role as an actor in it, and he was great in that. So,
And then I didn't see the movie that he directed, Mowgli, I believe it was.
Oh,
Is that
it
what
came
he-
out? Did it go to Netflix or it came
Ryan,
out?
you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
Mowgli on Netflix.
It did go to Netflix.
I didn't see
I
that,
did not
but I
either.
heard that it was excellent as well.
I
I'm excited to see what
like
he does
him as a
with Venom.
performer. I think he's great. So the fact that his name was mentioned, I'm like golden.
Yeah, I
it's-
agree
it's
with
gold.
that. Let's talk a little Joker.
Oh, my
because
gosh.
this is the
Oh,
thing that we
my
talk about every
Lord.
week, but there's a couple of different updates here that are pretty massive. Number one, this movie is going to hit $1 billion.
There's no question.
No question
Anymore.
It's
It's
just
not.
happening, which is crazy. Number two, this is the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, which is huge.
It's at 9:55 right today. I saw this morning 9:55
And number three, it is the most profitable comic book movie
Of all time. So let's explain that, Rox. People explain like what that means is when you spend X amount of dollars on a film and you make X amount of profit.
So
that comes-
it was a $64 million budget, actually, I think, now that I've
Okay.
looked into it. So how much they spent versus how much they are making makes it the most profit of all
so
of
that's
the
why,
movies.
I mean, when people, and I'll use this to a DC film, they talk about Shazam. Well, it didn't make a lot of money. But it only cost $90 million to make, and it made almost $400 million. So it made a good profit for them. It was a very profitable film for them. You know, but then you look at Endgame, where it made $3 million or $3 billion, but it cost like I forgot what they said with everything. So its profit was not as
it must have been $400 million worth of marketing and
right.
everything. Like,
So
it
its
must have been
profit
crazy.
was much smaller. Yes, it still made money. Yes, it's still you could say
Still
it's
made tons of money.
Yeah, but its profit margin. So that's why I love this. I hope to God this greenlights more of these smaller films. You know, and granted, it's the Joker. You know.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I would have never, ever in a million years that Joker would have made $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Never.
The amount of repeat viewings that have to go
And
into that.
And like I'm so happy that I'm thankful. I'm thankful that nothing happened.
Me too.
There was no shooting. But I'm also a little snarky thankful, like because there's a manufactured controversy and they wanted to throw digs and they wanted to find something to shoot this movie down. All that was great publicity. That's all it was.
I think that this movie.
Thank God nothing happened.
This movie should pat itself on the back.
Oh, break its arm, patting itself on the back.
And then pat itself some more.
Get its butt slap. Like, sit there and go, we did it.
If the Academy does not recognize this movie come nomination time, they are on purpose closing their eyes and burying their head in the sand.
You nominated Black Panther for Best Picture. This needs to be nominated for Best Picture.
And he needs to be nominated.
Absolutely.
And adapted screenplay probably as well.
I'm trying to think who else in the film. I'm like...
No, nobody has enough screen time.
They don't. I mean, there's this kind of joke going around right now. Disney's doing the push for Endgame.
14 supporting pushes.
Brie Larson
14.
was nominated. I think she had 5
Paul
lines.
Rudd.
Paul Rudd he's the big line in that movie.
Come on.
I just watched it last night.
Brie Larson is in 5 minutes of it. Paul Rudd.
I watched it last
for an
night.
Oscar? You think Paul Rudd should be pushed for an Oscar in that movie?
Only 2 people in that movie are Karen Gillan.
Talk to me about his emotional arc. What was Paul Rudd's emotional arc?
Karen Gillan and Renner. What I would give the 2 nominations to.
I would do Robert Downey Jr. I absolutely would.
But you're going off with Downey Jr., you're going off of 10 years of films. Renner, what he pulled off in that film.
I'm going off of impact.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm not.
Renner was excellent as well.
Renner for supporting, I would say Renner and Karen Gillan.
Yeah,
those 2. That's my 2 votes.
I like your votes.
Downey was the given. He should have been without. I mean, I put Evans in there too.
I don't even know if Downey should be in supporting.
No, he's lead.
Yeah,
but
they did put him in supporting, so. It is what it is.
Okay. But anyway,
Here
I digress.
on DC movie news,
yes, I digress.
We have
I was trying to think in the film. I don't know who else I would have given it to. The mother was great.
Joker, a part of me thinks that one of the reasons that they didn't put Downey in the
because of he lost out to Heath 8 years ago and he did Tropic Thunder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
Joaquin.
He's not winning supporting actor though.
Yeah, I don't think so
not
either.
In this race.
But he might get the nom. He might get the nom. I doubt it, but he might.
I'm trying to think. And we're entering Oscar season, so I can't think of any actor right now that's running the pack, as they say. I mean, I can't think of Oscar films right now that are who we would nominate guy-wise, best actor. Okay. Joaquin, he needs to be nominated.
I agree. He needs to be nominated.
And nominated Best Picture.
Here's our next thing for news, though,
Let's
Mike.
go. What is this? Is this my thing for news? And you're going to make me look like an idiot.
No, I'm not. There's Joker talk every single week, but this is something that we haven't talked about in quite a while on the show that you let me know about.
Yeah.
We're not positive, but we will give it here
Take
as
it with
part
a
of,
grain of salt.
Yes, some might say a grain of salt. As part of DC Movie News, we search high and low for all of the news, rumors, talks, etc. And when there's somebody who has been right about multiple things in the past, we like to give them credit.
Bets.
We hedge our bets because sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. But this was something that you saw, Mike.
I did.
About Black Adam.
Yes.
So where did you see this news and what is the news?
Humberto Gonzalez.
His
Instagram is always great.
Friend of the show, been on the show before.
He dropped a picture of Black Adam versus Hawkman, and all it said was Black Adam versus Hawkman, 2021 or 2022. I think it's 2021. I could be wrong. I'll pull it up right now. And he said, "Who you got?" That's all it was. There was no story. Black Adam versus Hawkman coming 2021. Who you got? No story attached. I went to the Wrap. No story. I went to multiple sources yesterday to try and pull and put on the rundown. Any kind of story. Nothing. But it wasn't like, hey, exclusive. So I don't know. I can't tell you what this is, but it makes perfect sense because he needs an antagonist. It's not going to be Shazam.
We know there's obviously a The Rock Black Adam movie coming.
Rock has said we're going into production this summer. We're going.
Yes, and Hawkman does make sense.
He's been in Kondak. He's an archaeologist. He's been reincarnated through history. Mm-hmm. So it could be a different period. It might not be Carter Hall, the current Hawkman, but it may be a Hawkman. We might have a Hawkwoman, Hawkgirl. But the great thing about Hawkman is he's been in different time periods they've established, and he keeps being reincarnated, so it might not be current day. I don't know. I have no idea. But I love the fact we're getting Hawkman.
Going back to my DC TV talk for a second, because I can't help myself, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1.
Right. That was the through line.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Sierra Foster?
Renee. Sierra Renee was her name. And his name was, let's see if I can find it.
Not Henshaw.
Sound it out.
I should know it.
Falk Henschel, was that who it was?
Falk Henschel?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Maybe Ryan can help us.
I'm looking.
Thank you. And the two of them were nothing to do with the actors necessarily. The two characters were everybody's least favorite characters on the show to the point where
they never came back.
To the point where they never came
I
back.
think they kind of dug themselves a hole. The show was so unique. You know, it wasn't an Arrow, it wasn't a Flash, it wasn't a Supergirl. It was this eccentric group, and then you had this storyline that was just like, well, what do we do with it now?
So we had the Hawk people on, and people did not love them, and I think it soured. Yeah, Falk Henschel.
Yeah.
Okay. People said, thank you, Ryan. People were soured by the Hawk people
Right.
who watched the show. Now, it wasn't a huge audience that watched that show.
Especially early on.
But I always felt like there was such potential for live action
liked
Hawk
them.
people. I did too. They just didn't mesh with what they were doing.
I remember this was probably now almost 10 years ago. There was talk of a Hawkman movie where they said it's in the vein of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I remember that was the kind of like the pitch tagline that they were using. I think there's such potential.
But I have a question for you.
I'll answer it.
You know how we were on Arrow and we killed off the show, not dead, but we wrote off the show, Deadshot and Deathstroke, knowing that the movies were going to be touching on both of them at some point.
Okay.
And we've done that many times. Same thing with Amanda Waller. We decided because she was going to be in Suicide Squad. Some people not even knowing where they would appear or when they would appear, we write them off of our TV shows. Do you think it's possible, because Black Adam has been announced for so long, that they knew they were doing Hawkman as Black Adam's counterpart and they didn't want Legends because there was this mixed reception to have the Hawk people anymore?
I don't know.
Possible?
Sure, possible. I think the big thing was they're like, who can we make? Because the Black Adam is the antagonist. He's always the bad guy, and somewhat. You need the antagonist, you know, or protagonist, antagonist. Little protagonist, antagonist. Friends become enemies, enemy becomes friends. I think it's Simpsons or Family Guy. I don't know. I think it's great. I think they've been asking me a lot about this. Go read Hawkman. It's 1 through 12. It's Brian Hitch and Robert Venditti, I believe. I'm saying his name wrong if it's him. They did an arc recently. It's collected right now, and it's a fantastic. It sums up the history of Hawkman. It takes all the different threads, makes it a palpable, readable storyline that works great. And that character could hopefully be what we're going to see.
Checking over to the chat for a second.
Chicken of the Road?
Checking over the chat.
Checking into the chat. There's Chicken of the Road. I thought that was his handle. I was going to say, that's awesome.
What? Checking over to
Chicken
the
of the
chat
Road.
for a second. Daniel Drew says at least plausible. So Gregory Castillo, conspiracy alert. It is a little bit of a conspiracy.
We didn't tweet it out, though.
No, I'm
It's
just
out
saying.
there. It was out there. It's credible source.
No,
tweeted it.
I'm saying that that's why they were taken off the show. Conspiracy. Deadshot is an anti-hero, says Ivan.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah, sure he's.
Black Adam equals an anti-hero, says you, Jax.
Yeah, it's he's always fighting for his country.
The new Hawkman is a good comic, says Robert Gary.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Okay.
It's great.
All right. So maybe we will be seeing a Black Adam versus Hawkman. I don't know a more plausible duo for the movie right now. So let's go
It's a
with
bit
that.
of a power, but
Let's talk about something that we've talked about also on the show 4,562 times.
500, 672 minutes.
Oh,
Isn't that the rent?
no.
It's rent. I don't know what it
You
is.
butchered the number.
But what is it?
524,600
524,600 minutes. I don't want to pay the rent.
Ryan, did you know that both all Mike, Adam, and I were theater majors, in fact?
Or you?
You were all majors?
We were all
Oh,
theater
yeah.
majors. Mike, Adam, and I were all theater majors.
I was a theater minor.
Whoa.
Oh, I was a
Film
business-
major. Film major.
There you go.
I was a film minor.
Oh.
Interesting.
As a business minor.
Switchy McGree.
Yeah, business minor.
Switchy McGree. Switchy McGee?
Switchy Magoo?
Switchy McGee.
No,
this
Magoo,
thing
you've
that I
done it
just-
again.
Oh my
Chicken of the
God.
road.
I love the opening of that with
That
the
was your
car,
Mr.
the-
Magoo?
Mr. Magoo.
No, I was like, oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
You've done it again. That's kind of the voice
So
I
many
hear
clips.
when everybody says release the Snyder Cut, which is what we're about to talk about because Snyder Cut, we're still talking it.
You
Yes,
know-
and this time we're talking it for a different reason. Momoa has previously confirmed that he has seen it. Now he has reconfirmed that he has seen it. But not only is he saying he's seen it, he thinks that we should all see it.
We're going to see it.
HBO Max, Snyder
I'm just
Cut,
saying.
Momoa says
I came at Jay Washington night. I didn't come at him. I just responded because he's like, "You drop the Snyder talk," and I just said, "This is like, hey, for 30 years, no one was saying drop the Donner cut, and that was out there, and it happened,
So
and we got a Donner cut eventually. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get it. It's just a matter of when and how completed it's going to be.
Well, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II says no Black Manta is in the Snyder cut of Justice League. So does that push us against any kind of Snyder
No,
cut
because I
drop?
don't think he was ever in it. Was he? Was there talk that he was cast in it?
I don't know, but he was asked on Twitter if he was in the Snyder cut, and he said,
Oh, I gotta find a story.
no.
There is
No.
someone that was in the Snyder cut was. Keep talking, Rock. I'm gonna find it for us.
We'll keep talking about what, sir?
Snyder
The Snyder cut?
Yep, and your disdain for it.
No, I don't have disdain for it anymore. I do hope that we see it at this point, just because why not? The fans have made a charity of it. The fans have pushed for it. The fans want it. If it actually exists, which I didn't believe it did at first, but now I do feel like it does, obviously, fine. HBO Max it. Get your views. We're going to need something to fight up against Disney Plus anyway. Mike, what do you got?
Here it is. Peter Guinness was Desaad in the Snyder cut. That was another actor who was cast in the role. That came out recently.
Okay.
Oh, no, actually, it says like back in August. It says about this. But
August
that was
was
another
somewhat
thing.
recently.
That was another thing. That was another actor, Desaad.
We're jumping around a little bit today, but let's
What we
go
got now?
back
What's
to
next?
some Joker stuff because this was something that actually really bummed me out. I'm curious your thoughts on this.
I'll give them to you.
Todd Phillips was talking about Zazie Beetz. Now, for anybody who has not seen Joker, tune out now. This is a spoiler. Spoiler
You've
about
not seen
Joker.
it by now?
If you're watching DC Movie News, I think you've seen it.
It's by now. It's been a month.
But Zazie Beetz, at the end of the movie, there have been questions on whether or not Joker killed Zazie Beetz, what happened to Zazie Beetz' character, and Todd Phillips came out and he said that she absolutely was not killed by him. This was his quote. He doesn't kill her, definitively. As the filmmaker and the writer, I'm saying he doesn't kill her. We liked the idea that it's almost like a little bit of a litmus test for an audience to say, okay, well, how crazy is he? And most people that I've spoken to think he didn't kill her because they understand this idea that he's only killed people that did him wrong, so to speak. That have fucked him over. She said she had nothing to do with it. Most people understood that he was living by, even as a villain, a certain code. We thought when he kisses Gary on the head, the little actor, and he runs off, he clearly has a code he lives by. Of course, he didn't kill this woman down the hall and her child.
Arthur, could you open the... Oh, my God, that's...
God.
What's the thing? He just puts his head down like he knows.
I know. But I didn't like that this happened. Can I tell you why?
Yeah, and then do you want me to ask you what I thought? Do you want me
Yes,
to tell
that
you
is
what I
how
thought?
this show works. In
Oh,
fact,
it's a give and take, isn't it?
It's a give and take, a push and a pull, baby. I didn't like that he said this, not because I think that he did kill her,
Okay.
but because the end of the movie is ambiguous. So I like the creator to let us make up our own mind.
I would rather, because I on the other side of the spectrum, I see what happened with Endgame with the directors and the writers, and both sets were telling us two different things. Some were saying, nope, Steve doesn't do this. Nope, Steve did this. And it's like,
That
you
wasn't
guys...
happening here, though. People weren't telling us two different things.
I know, so we got definitive. I'd rather this than what that dealt with. Because I'm like,
I would
well,
rather
which one
this
do I
than
believe?
that also, but I'd rather nobody say anything and have
But-
the audience be like, oh, because that was the cool part of the ending for me. A lot of people did believe that he killed her.
And I'll say this, I've seen it twice. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, he absolutely killed her. Didn't even think a second thought. And then the second time, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Everything after their initial meeting, he made up in his mind.
Yeah.
I had no idea because I was like, why is he, when she comes into the room, he's sitting there, she's like, she says, your name is Arthur, right? Like, she knows, she's been on dates with him. She sat next to his mom at the hospital. And Shannon's like, no, his mom.
No,
I was like, oh, God.
I picked all that up the first time.
I didn't pick that
but
up.
I love that you didn't, and that's the
No.
point. That's why I
That's
don't
why
want
it's
him.
such a good movie.
That's why I think it's great, and he shouldn't say that because the first time you see it, you might think one thing. Second
I
time
see
you
what
see
you're
it, you might
saying.
think another thing.
Because they do leave it like, it could be.
It could be.
It could be. Like,
And he says it definitively is not.
I get what you're saying. He showed you Santa Claus.
Yeah, and I didn't want to.
You're a 22-year-old girl, and you can want to believe in Santa Claus and Hanukkah hair if you want. No one ruined it for you.
Yeah.
But they could have ruined it for you.
Yeah, but I
get
don't
it.
want it to be ruined for
I
me.
get it. But like I said, like a definitive one was
I'm a
like
Jew.
That's why I said the Hanukkah Harry. At the end, when he's with the doctor at the hospital, and you see blood on his footprints.
Yes.
That's definitive. He killed that nurse.
Yes.
The doctor. So this is like, I get you. You had Christmas ruined for you, and you'd rather not want it ruined.
It's not even that I thought differently
I
than
didn't
him.
even need him to
I
say
just
that.
didn't need it.
But
I didn't need it.
He's a filmmaker, and they're asking about his film. So he's like, you want him just like, I don't know, did she? It's up for you to decide.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that's how he
all right,
shot it. If he
okay.
wanted us to know she lived, he could have shown us that she lived.
Excuse me.
What's happening, sir?
But I love that he didn't because
I love that too,
he
that's
didn't
why.
spoon feed us. Some people need to be
But then telling us this
spoon-fed all the
is
time.
spoon feeding us, and I don't like
But
that.
that's supplemental. If
Yeah.
you go on the internet and look like, did she kill herself? I need to know. You're spoon feeding yourself.
I
like
didn't.
me,
It
like
just popped up.
Like me watching it twice, and I'm like, oh. That was me the whole second film. It's like,
Oh. Is that you, Mike?
I'm giving Ryan sound bites. Oh.
My
Poker face.
Poker face.
Puff. That's Christopher Walken reading Poker Face.
Going more.
Poker
Going more
face.
into Joker right now, Mike. We had some Martin Scorsese talk this week, and for the
dying here.
Dude, what the fuck?
I love
Dropping the
how-
F-bombs.
And 2 minutes ago, you just go, "What's happening, sir?" As he's coughing a lung out.
I'm coughing along and she's cursing at me.
Drink your drink. Everybody breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. You can get through this. I'm so happy for the people who have the ear pods
I'm
in
gonna
their
die
ears.
here in
Chrissy Teigen's mom is throwing out her ear pods as we speak because she's upset that Mike has coughed in her ears. All right, let's talk about this Martin Scorsese thing.
Let's talk
now,
about it.
it's not the Martin Scorsese thing at home that you guys are all thinking. We're not talking about his op-ed, although I thought it was a really great read if you want to check it out in the New York Times. But what this is about is the fact that he was considered for making Joker, but he did not have time for it.
Yeah.
And that is what he said. We speculated that early on, considering it was his production company
Yep.
and his producing partner who worked on it. But the quote is, he just did not have time for it.
I'm interesting. I'm curious because Todd Phillips wrote it. Did he go to Scorsese with it and wanting him to direct it, and then he said no? Like Phillips was like, "Well, you know what? I'm going to take a shot at it."
Well,
because this is in Scorsese's wheelhouse. It's not in Todd Phillips' wheelhouse. As we thought.
He says, "I know director Todd Phillips very well. My producer Emma Tillinger produced it. I thought that it was a lot over the last 4 years and decided I did not have the time for it. It was personal reasons why I didn't get involved, but I know the script very well. It has a real energy, and Joaquin Phoenix, you have remarkable work." So
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
He also had some
he's been working on The
issues-
Irishman for X amount of years.
on top of not having time for the film, he had some issues with the script as well. He said, "For me, ultimately, I don't know if I make the next step into this character, developing it into a comic book character. You follow? He develops into an abstraction. It doesn't mean it's bad art. It's just not for me. The superhero films, as I've said, are another art form. They are not easy to make. There's a lot of very talented people doing good work and a lot of young people really, really enjoying them."
Well said.
Sure.
And you know what? A man like him, he's earned the right to say it. I don't
agree.
care what people think.
I
If he wants to
agree.
call your comic movie a theme park ride, let him. He's earned the right. His resume speaks for itself. So I'm sorry. That's my 2 cents.
Something that we don't always talk about on the show, and we won't give the spoiler part of it because
I didn't know there were spoilers. I didn't know.
I don't want to
Tell
here
me.
on the show. Yeah, and I don't think
Don't
you
tell me.
want
I don't
to
wanna
hear,
know.
and I wish I hadn't read exactly
is
what
it
the article said.
bad?
But there was Wonder Woman. Apparently, there have been 2 different Wonder Woman 84 test screenings, okay?
2 different films, 2 different cuts.
2 different months. One was back in June,
Okay.
and one was in October. So I don't know if it was the same cut, but that would to me sound like different cuts. If
Yeah.
it's June versus
Things
October.
were made. Yeah, different made.
And the one in June was very well received. The one in October was apparently not well received.
Oh, interesting.
And the one in October it talked about, there's an article if you want to look. I know that they have some weird stuff on here, but Cosmic Book was the one who put out this article. And they
That's a
talked about
dicey
test
site.
screening spoilers, talking about Pedro Pascal's character and what was going on there and not loving stuff with that. Again, I don't want to give spoilers of what they're saying happens, but apparently the June screening went well. The October, as this website says, was a disaster. Any feelings on that, or just going to brush that under the rug, Mike?
I don't trust the site if that's the only person reporting on it. It's like trusting we got covered or whatever. We got this covered. Or it's like, I don't trust it. But if you've got one film in June that was well received and one's a disaster, they're not. The film is the film. Like they didn't talk about reshoots. You know.
In fact, they said in June that it was ready to be
Ready to
viewed.
release.
Yeah, and
So that sounds, guys. This is striking me as back in, because I remember Patty Jenkins was right before Comic-Con. She's like, "Wow, I wish our movie we kept our original date. I want you guys to see this film." Or let's play devil's advocate. Have they had the film finished for so long? Now they're messing with it too
it.
much.
I was thinking about that too.
Are they going? because it sits
But
there.
I was
and
thinking
you're
about
just
that
like,
too, but I don't think Patty Jenkins is one of those creators. I don't think she's antsy
she's
in that
earned
way.
the right for us to
She's
trust.
been in the long haul for this. It's not like she's a brand new filmmaker who's like.
I get it. I see that.
What are you squeaky McGeeing over
It's
there?
my shoes. I got sneakers on
But
today.
are you running somewhere?
What?
Why are they? What are they squeaking against?
Running to the show to be with the show with you.
Here's what the people online are saying. Some of the stuff I've read is really, really bad, says Robert Gary. Dan V900 said Cosmic Book News is not credible in any way. Not
you.
a Critic says I'm waiting until I see a trailer.
Yeah.
No, Patty was still editing in July. I know Sam Sheridan and her, says Garth McMurray.
I'm kind of torn because maybe and this could be where some problem is the fact this movie to me, and I have not watched anything except for the Comic-Con stuff. I've not read these spoilers. This is going to be a 180 film from the first one. The only thing I think that's going to be kept the same is her. I think the tone is going to be different. It's set in the 80s. I think, you know, in the first movie, it was the romanticized version of World War I. You know, the war-swept hero and the love story. And I think this is going to be an 80s. Think about the comic books in the 80s, and it's just like, I think this is going to be a 180-degree different film from the first one.
Okay, and I'm not
That's
mad
my
at
thought on it.
That's okay with
and
me.
I think that is some people are going to love it, other people are going to hate it because they're going to be wanting a sequel to a sequel. They're going to be wanting a direct sequel. Like, I want what I saw in the first one, just in a different time period. Like, because when I thought 80s, I thought, oh, Cold War. You know, spies,
I thought so too.
Russia. But now we're getting Cheetah, we're getting Max Lord, we're getting talk about Steve Trevor being resurrected, we're getting shopping malls. So it's like, this is not at all, when they announced,
Damn those shopping
when they
malls.
first announced the 90s or the 80s, I thought it was coming right off of Atomic Blonde. I was like, oh, we're going right into that again. Yes. No, this seems bright, colorful. She's wearing armor in this movie. So, I mean, who knows? But I love Shazam. And that's bright and colorful and fun.
Well, hopping over to another movie that has a sequel coming up, Suicide Squad. The director of Suicide Squad, David Ayer, was reflecting on what happened with Harley Quinn. This article on Cinema Blend refers to what he's talking about as him saying that he had missteps. But let's read his exact quote, and you can interpret it how you will, Mike.
I will. I always do.
He said, movies are fragile. They are like dreams, haunting moments that run from your vision. They have their own logic and truth. If you change the destination after the trip is complete, is it still the same journey? The spine of Suicide Squad was Harley's journey. In many ways, it was her movie. Her escaping her relationship with Joker was the major emotional through line. A director holds an invisible compass in their hands. It guides every shot, every performance. That compass points to the destination. If the destination changes, did the journey even happen? Acid trip or not?
You know, he basically, I think, is saying, hey, we set out to make this movie. We didn't end up making that movie that I wanted to set out to make. Things change. I think we knew going through it, and from all the cut stuff we've seen and
The trailer stuff.
stuff, it was a different movie than we got. And the same as Justice League. It is a different movie that we ended up seeing. Which is interesting with him is, though, he was the only director ever attached to it. So
Yeah.
I think there was probably a lot of push and pull. I mean, BVS, it was all this is a result of the fans not going crazy for BVS and what they tried to do and the two filmmakers after that. So it's, you know, I mean, hey, we got Harley Quinn out of it, a great Harley Quinn. I don't know what to say. I feel bad for the guy. It's like, he really wanted to make a movie and he was on board and he had the support of the studio until he didn't have the support
But you know what?
anymore.
I don't think anybody, I don't hear ever people being like, David Ayer sucks. I'm not hearing that on the street.
He's got a great,
on the street.
He's got a great vibe about him, and his cast loves him. So
Yeah.
you always hear. We would have heard by now. Okay, let's say this. We would have heard by now. If it sucked to work with these people, we would have heard from the Moas, from these people, all these people who did work with Snyder and work with Ayer. Like, it was the worst 6 months of my life.
Yeah.
It sucked to be doing this movie, not want to do it, not knowing what you're doing, new pages every day. We didn't know what we were shooting. None of them came out going, hey, we didn't know what we were filming. They knew exactly what they were filming up until it wasn't their film anymore, until it went into the editing bays. And
Instead of release the Snyder cut, we're getting release the Ayer cut in
Why
the
not?
chat.
Why not?
We'll see. I don't know if that's how we
I don't think he'd want it. Snyder, I think, sitting back, sitting pretty going, I'm out making movies for Netflix now. You know, the movie's done. We got the score. We'll put it out if they want. I think Ayer's like, F you guys. I ain't coming back to that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Before we get to TV time, I did want to mention quickly that Christopher Dennis, who also known as Hollywood Superman, you guys might have known him as a street performer, but he was also on Jimmy Kimmel Live and in the documentary Confessions of a Superhero. He has passed away at 52.
Yeah.
So as part of the DC community, I just wanted to acknowledge
he looked
him.
Like Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
did.
it was a tragic because he lost his stuff back a couple years ago and they did a Kickstarter and he came back and then how he was found. It's just so not.
Just sending love and thoughts to anybody who knew him.
If you get a
loved
chance,
him.
I think it's called Confessions of a Superhero and
did say that.
Jenny Lou Wonder. Now Jenny Van Dyne.
Yeah.
She was in Wonder Woman in that. You know, fan of the show.
And we
She's been on
love
the
her,
show.
yeah.
She's been here.
She's great.
She was Wonder Woman before I knew her. I knew her as Wonder Woman in that movie, it is a phenomenal movie. You should really watch that movie.
So go check it out to everybody.
It's a great film.
And now let's get to some TV time.
Favorite time.
It's
Your
time
favorite
for Roxy Strauss
Is
TV
it?
time. All the girls think Johnny's fine. Adam's cooking, so
Every time I hear Johnny's name.
Aw.
John Quasto.
John.
TV time.
Johnny
It is what it is. Thanks, Ryan. All right, let's talk a little TV talk.
Don't you miss the Johnny time just chiming in with certain things and you and I'd be like, huh? Remember that one time with our face? I loved him. He was the
exactly
voice.
what
He
you're
was
talking about.
Johnny Everyman in this
Johnny
panel.
Everyman, but every panel needs an everyman.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me with the three nuts like us?
Yeah.
He grounded us.
I love that.
And now we're just off the friggin' rails.
We miss you, Johnny.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm watching this playback with my head bouncing. Ryan, I still love that intro that you do. Have you seen this with my head bouncing?
Oh, I know
during
it's
TV
coming.
Time?
Oh, I know it's coming on that.
What?
We might have shot a little thing.
We might have shot something.
We might have shot something to add to that.
Oh,
What are you talking
shot a
about?
little
Did I not
something.
see it?
Not yet. You
Not
settle
there
down. The popcorn's not popping today. See how I've not been distracted? Have you noticed that?
That's funny. All
Okay,
right,
thank
let's
you.
talk TV talk. There wasn't a lot of TV news this week, but we did get new episodes. Black Lightning was off this week, as two of our shows are off next week. I believe that Arrow and Flash are both off next week, but they were on this week. Supergirl was on this week. Batwoman was on this week. Watchmen was on this week. Titans was on this week. What are you watching right now?
Titans?
You are watching Titans?
Yeah.
So did you see the episode that just dropped?
Nope, I'm so
the
backed
episode
up.
that just dropped was phenomenal.
It's after Jericho, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This episode was excellent. I really like
The
season
show
two.
is phenomenal.
It
It's,
is.
but I love what I love about it. It's television. It's filmmaking. It pivots and it shifts.
Yeah.
The show, what it was originally, we see the four of them right there. That was going to be the show. That is not the show anymore.
So happy about where it's gone.
You know, but I like to. I hope I bring a. I don't know how many of our listeners and watchers are actors or in the industry, but you know, it sucks as an actor. It's like you're still on the show and you're still a series regular and you're still getting paid and you're still this, but you know, you probably get the script every week and like, well, I got one scene this week.
Yeah.
That is the way it goes.
But you want to know what?
But then Beast Boy recently had a him and Connor episode, and
Yeah.
he shined.
yes.
But you also feel
Beast Boy has a very has cool stuff.
you
in this
also
episode
feel
as well.
who the audience gravitates to. Like I love the Dick Grayson stuff, and when Donna Troy showed up, I
I love
love
Donna
that.
Troy.
That's
love
what I gravitate to.
Donna
But
Troy.
me being older,
But I don't
I
care
like the
about
older
your
stuff.
age. I'm sorry. The reason she's not getting as much screen time is because Raven is nobody's favorite character on the show.
maybe there are young girls out there that probably do love Raven. But maybe that's not the audience. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Who you gravitate to. Her stuff dominated season 1 too much, and it was just like, okay, the mopey.
I agree.
This has gotta go.
I agree. Are you watching Watchmen or no?
Not yet.
You haven't seen any episodes of Watchmen.
I have not yet.
Come on, Mike.
Oh, stop it, Ryan. But did I just see?
Who watches the Watchmen?
Not Mike. Did I see Jean Smart?
As Silk Spectre?
No, I know she is.
Yes. Did you see the big
Did I
blue
see?
doll?
Was she holding?
You did see a big blue dildo. Yes, you did. Sir.
huge blue.
And here's the thing. Here's what I would like to talk about. Here's what I would like to say. Excuse you. As the sex positive person at this table,
I'm sorry.
I will say.
Wait, what was that? The sex positive person?
Yeah,
I'm
like-
sex negative.
No, I'm just saying as a sex positive person.
What's
at this
sex
table.
positive mean?
Like I am pro sex.
I'm not.
I don't know. I'm just talking about myself.
Just because I'm not dirty.
I didn't say anything about you.
But you said as the pro-sex person at this
I didn't
table,
even say
meaning that
pro-sex.
I'm not the pro-sex
Sex
person.
positive, it's a
Sex-
term. You don't
I'm
even
the
know the term.
pro-sex.
As a sex positive
I'm
person,
pro-sex.
here's what I'll say. I was talking to Yel Teagle, host of AfterBuzz TV,
I know,
also.
yes.
And we were talking about our concern for Jean Smart because there was no lubrication in that blue dildo box, and that
She
thing,
had a box for it.
It was a box for a blue dildo. Ryan, our very own
did it,
producer,
like-
Ryan Nelson, knows very well because he hosts the AfterBuzz TV after show for Watchmen. Did you see any lubrication in that blue
No.
dildo box?
Did she just have
No
to go
lube.
like?
Yeah.
Well, imagine what
I
it'd
just
be
saw the
like-
picture. She was holding it like it was her firstborn child.
Imagine what it would be like to have sex with somebody after having sex with Dr. Manhattan.
Well, he wasn't that big in the I've seen his dong.
no.
I've seen the movie. I've seen his dong.
You don't think it was that big?
It's not this big.
Yes,
It's not,
yes, it was.
Are you
He had
out of your
big
darn
blue
mind? I know it's been a
dong.
while since Rox. I know it's been a
That
while
is
for
true,
you.
sir.
So your
That
size is
true.
probably off the scale
Maybe
here.
that's true, but this looked like
Okay.
a big dong to me. It wasn't?
That thing was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was an arm.
It was an arm and a leg.
You ever go to the? Never mind.
What?
No, you go to the stores and they have things like this.
Yeah.
That was about that size. It was.
Yeah, it
she's
was
holding
huge.
it like it's her firstborn child, and in my head I'm like, I know she's Silk Spectre. Oh my lord! And it was blue too.
Yeah, blue cuz. Blue cuz what?
But now Ozymandias was in the suit. I did see that. Was anyone's not thinking that Jeremy Irons was him?
There were
No, he was-
No, everybody knew, but everybody was like, is he going to be Vite? Is he going to be Vite? Because he hasn't said it. Nobody said his name yet.
Oh,
so
okay, because
we
I was
finally-
like, and you
No,
put the
everyone
costume,
knew.
it was like finally revealed spoilers his character. So I'm like, do I want to watch this? And I saw the pictures, like that's not a spoiler. He was
Whatever.
from the minute he was cast.
You can't even talk crap because you're not
I
watching
can't.
it. You
You're
got to
right.
watch it.
Because
It's-
Ryan, who covers the AfterBuzz show, says I can't binge it, but I want to binge it.
You really are missing out. Now.
I want to binge it though.
It's the conversation week to week.
Are you
Ah,
not watching
damn it.
Arrow at all this season
I'm
either?
slowly with the different shows. Yes, Rox.
Because we've
Yes.
got Crisis coming up.
I know. Trust me, I know.
And they keep reminding us.
I know.
I will say that this week was stronger for our CW shows. Supergirl is not doing well right now.
What's going on there? Wait, why you said your CW shows? It's CW, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why you said CW's doing well, but not Arrow, not Supergirl?
I said this week they're doing better. CW shows are doing better because they've been not doing well recently.
Oh.
But Supergirl still this week was.
Now, what was the one with Supergirl? I saw a clip with Martian Manhunter, and he had like this device he was shooting at another guy. It was outside, and the CGI.
It's his brother.
The CGI.
It's not
I saw
doing
this
well.
scene.
It's not doing
I didn't
well.
know what I was watching.
I know, and they put it out because they were like, "Look at how great our CGI looks on the
Oh,
show,"
it was-
and the
'cause
internet tore them to shreds.
That was a mistake because we've
It
seen
looks-
stuff with
I
them.
know, Mike.
CGI being phenomenal.
Mike, I know.
But I don't know what that clip was.
We have to get
didn't-
out of here, Mike.
We
but
do? Oh, we do?
We can speculate on that off air, why
Damn
they put
it.
that clip out. But guys, let us know what you think, as always, in the comments. Rate, comment, subscribe. Give us that 5-star, that thumbs up. Right now, we have over 200 people watching live and
What?
40 thumbs up. So you got to get those thumbs going. We really appreciate it. Stop what you're doing. Hit that thumb.
Give us the Jimmy thumbs.
What is a Jimmy, though?
You're like, I got the Jimmy thumbs.
Who's like that?
People have the Jimmy leg in the bed.
It's Mike. Where can people find you?
You can find the sex positive Mike at Mike Kalinowski.
And Ryan just changed his handle to @Rye Nilsson. So Rye, R-Y Nilsson. Is that correct, Ryan?
That is correct.
Thank you so much for being the epic producer. I'm everywhere at Roxy Stryer. We're at DC Movie News Live on Twitter. Don't forget to follow at Adam Gertler as well. And we'll see you next week, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific time on the Popcorn Talk Network.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.